Hey guys. Alright, this is kind of an important video because I called the cops last night. So I had a police officer come over to my house last night because um I came home from shopping with my child and I saw that somebody had been in my house, and I panicked and called 911 and I had a police officer come over. Well, it turns out it was my apartment manager. I hadn't got the voicemail. She had left me a voicemail saying she was going to show my apartment yesterday, and I hadn't gotten the voicemail, so I didn't know at the time. So fortunately, it turns out that it was just my apartment manager. But at the time I didn't know that, and there were a lot of things going on that were, sort of disturbing. Not sort of, but they were. Like the guy with the dog again. Well, what happened was, you guys know that they've in the past have recorded me and then sent the recording to my phone. And like, for example, one time I was really, really sick and I was crying, and they recorded me and sent it to my phone. They're really evil. Anyway, so I know that they've recorded me in my house in the past. And also I've noticed, like with the gang stalking, if I carry my phone with me, it's worse than if I don't carry my cell phone with me. Far worse. I mean, it's like far, far worse. Like, I will have like multiple incidents in one day with the gang stalking if I have my phone with me. Like, for example, that one day I told you guys about, with the van, the Monarch cleaners van, and the guy saying you're bad, and then the other lady taking the picture of me on the bus, and all that weird stuff that happened that one day. That was all in one day, by the way. That was a day that I had mistakenly brought my phone with me, and I had not. They were tracking me with my phone. Is my point. The gang stalkers were. So I usually take precautions. I don't say out loud when I'm about to go to the store. So if I'm about to go to the store, I don't say it out loud. I don't, because I know that there's a possibility that they're listening to me and recording me. And that if they know that I'm going to leave, then they're going to make sure to go to the places that I always go, because, you know what I mean? I pretty much go to the same places all the time, same stores. Anyway, I accidentally let it slip that I was going to leave, and sure enough, that neighbor that has the dog was out walking his dog when I left, and his dog was barking and growling at my son, and my son was crying, and so that was really stressful. And then the whole day, there was just, people were being mean and rude to me, which of course is like, whatever. But it was a really, really bad day. Just a ton of coincidences that were just made my life, just made things really hard. Like, for one thing that they do is, well, I'm not going to get into that. I want to get straight into the stuff that happened yesterday with the calling the police. So anyway, I'm getting home off the bus, and when I was walking toward my house, there were these two men standing on the corner. Just these two men, a man, and it looked like a younger man, standing on the corner. I don't even know. I didn't recognize them or anything. I didn't know them. But I was sort of like, okay, you know what? I feel like this is that neighbor with the dog. I really do, and I want to know what's going on. So I open, and I'm kind of like, so I made sure to take my neighbor's address, because I don't know. I just think, that person could be a big gang stalker. And so and then I opened up my door, and I saw that my chair had been moved, and I knew somebody had been in my apartment. So I just immediately went and got on the phone, called the cops, and I was just like, somebody's been in my apartment. I don't know what's going on. I think they're, And so this police officer came over. And luckily she was a really nice person. However, um, for some reason she asked me if my son was vaccinated. And the reason I'm telling you this is because Alex Jones was just talking about this the other day, and there was some woman who had gotten on and said that her pediatrician had called the cops on her because she had refused to allow them to inject toxins into her child. That's what vaccinations are. And um and I don't want to get into that whole thing. You're going to have to do your own research because I just don't have the time to go into that. But the pediatrician called the cops because she refused to let them inject her child with toxins, which is insane. I shouldn't even have to mention. Um, so I thought it was very odd, coincidental, I guess, that I call the cops and the police officer comes over and then asks me if my child's vaccinated. And it was kind of like, do you have a, because she was asking me all these questions, and I had, at the time, I had no problem answering all these questions. But then she was like, does he have a doctor in town? And I'm like, yeah. And then she's like, okay, and so he's vaccinated completely and all this stuff. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, like, what does my son being vaccinated have anything to do with someone having been in my house and me and my child being attacked with weapons? So then she says that she knows of someone who's educated. She's listening to my testimony about the electromagnetic weapons. I wasn't really planning on going into that stuff because it's such a long story. And, you know, when I found out that she was uneducated about it, I didn't want to have to go through the whole thing. So I just kind of said, well, just, go online and do a search about it if you want to know. But the thing is, though, she said, well, I'm going to have somebody that's more educated come over and talk to you. And I said, I don't have a problem with that at all. That's fine. I want people to be educated about this. But then she said, something to the effect of, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was something to the effect of, do a walkthrough to see if you're a good mother. It was something to that effect. It was like, just verify that you're a good mom and, do a walkthrough. And at the time, for some reason, I was just like, yeah, that's fine. Have her come over. But then later I'm thinking about it. I'm like, wait a minute. What? I'm telling you that somebody came into my house. Granted, later on it turns out it was just my apartment manager. But I'm telling you somebody came into my house. I'm a single mom here alone. And I'm telling you that I'm being attacked with a weapon. Somebody shot me in the face. And then my son cried with what I now think was an ultrasound bullet. And you're telling me you need a social worker to evaluate whether I'm a good mom? No. So I'm going to upload this video right now because, you guys, I don't know what's going on. That police officer reports to somebody, and that somebody reports to somebody else, and it's a pyramid. Somebody is at the top. And I suspect that the people that are attacking me, that are gang stalking me and doing these things, are the people at the top. They are using multi-million-dollar equipment. And, like I said, my father was government. And, it's possible they just decided they want to get rid of his entire family or something. I don't know, you guys, but I'm freaking out, and I'm going to upload this video for my own protection. Because if something happens to me and they decide, because just one other thing, that NDAA bill that they passed in Congress on New Year's Eve, by the way, that's weird, okay? First of all, it's weird that Obama was signing a bill on New Year's Eve. That's very strange. Who does that, okay? That first thing. Waited until the very last day of the year to sign it. For those of you that don't know, and I'm sure most of you do that are listening to these videos, but for those of you that don't know, that bill makes you a criminal if you have more than 7 days of food in your house. And I'm going to tell you right now, I do have more than 7 days of food in my house because I don't want my son to starve. If for some reason they shut down food stamps, or because that's what I live off of. These gang stalkers have been gang stalking me for what I now believe is possibly 20 years, 17 at the very least. I became aware of it 17 years ago. They've ruined my life. They've put me in a situation. They had this work program that was supposedly supposed to help me, and they wouldn't allow me to search for jobs. I was in a government work program. It was supposed to help me get a job, and they didn't let me look for a job. They would not let me go on interviews, and they would not let me send out resumes. I'm not making this up, okay? This is totally true. And it was insane. It is insane. And I stopped going, and they punished me. They were like, well, you're just one of those welfare people that doesn't want to work. Excuse me? I've been working since I was 14. I've paid over $300,000 to the government in taxes and Social Security, and they want to complain to me. I go to a work program to try to get a job, and they don't allow me to look for work? Guys, I'm sorry for yelling. I'm uploading this video right now. If they arrest me for free speech, you guys know you're living in Nazi Germany. Bye.